Hey all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melody and I live in Germany, more specifically Berlin. So today I came to talk about an important subject, I would say, because a lot of people who want to move to Germany or are considering coming to Germany, they would like to know, how is getting a job in Germany? Is it easy? Is it hard? What have I done to get a job in Germany? So I think those are like things that are worth sharing of how I've done it and how you possibly can do as well. So without further ado, let's start the video. So I have my notes here as usual, so I can be more organized and I don't just humble and rumble, blah, 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 blah. And I can actually go straight to the point and be consistent in what I actually wanted to talk here. And one of the first things is you have to also understand location. I am in Berlin, as I always say before, and Berlin is a tech city. It's very growing when it comes to tech spaces. Wait a minute, is it too dark? The sun just disappeared. But it's okay, let's just hurry up. So I don't really want to use the ring light and I'm trying to use natural light. Let's just say Berlin is a tech city, as I was mentioning. It's startups everywhere. So of course you have all the jobs that you have in startups, you know. So if you have a major in business, marketing, IT, you won't really have lots of trouble to find a job. I would say the issue first is to get into the market, like any country. I came here as a student, so I did my master's degree here, which I would say is one of the best ways to come, because then I was able to stay here to look for a job, and I got a job, thank God. I was a bit stressful in the beginning, especially, sorry, as a new grad during COVID, but then I got it. And you have more possibilities as a student, and at the same time, I also did internships before, and then I could actually land my first job. But I would say the tricky part is really just getting your feet into the market. After you get your feet into the market, I would say it shouldn't be that challenging. But of course, getting that first feet into the market can be already a big challenge if you don't know what to do, which strategies to follow, where to look for. So we're going to cover all of this in this video. As I was just mentioning, that Berlin is a startup city. There's a lot of tech jobs and tech companies. So there's a lot of jobs when it comes to design, marketing, business development, customer service, recruiters, very looked in the market, and IT jobs. So of course, you have to understand what is the city famous for, and you have to adapt your CV and adapt your skills to the current market. For instance, I have a background in international business law and international relations and business administration. Of course, a lot of the jobs and internships I've did in the past is related to international organizations, international development, very political, very, international related. For this type of jobs, I probably would have more chance if I would go somewhere in the Netherlands, in The Hague, or if I would go to Geneva. But even there, I'm sure the competition is very fierce for those kinds of jobs. So at first I was looking for those kind of jobs in Berlin, and it was tricky. It was tricky. I did get 1-2 interviews here and there, but nothing very concrete. It was until I understood like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I would just see what the market offers, and I would look into my skills, my experiences, my degrees, and see how I can adapt to the current market where I am, which is Berlin. And that's what I did. And the moment I did that, I started to get lots of interviews. So as I was saying, you have to understand the market, what the market is offering and what you can offer the market. And I would say we all have transferable skills. So if you really want to stay in Berlin and you want to work here, you can look to the jobs in the market and what your skills are able to be transferable. You can even do some online courses. I started to do business development first. That was my first job. Then I moved into HR. I would say if you come here as a student jobs are very helpful. And one thing I like about Germany, you have a lot of student jobs. It's not internships. The only thing I knew before was internships, right? You're a student, you do internship. Here they have internships, but they also have a lot of student jobs, like student workers. They work part-time in companies, in the department that they were studying for, in the type of jobs they want to do in the future. And a lot of them end up just staying in the company after they graduate. For instance, that's what happens to my partner. He was in his company already 2 years before he even graduated. So when he graduated, he didn't even have this struggle of, being graduated and look for a job for 6 months or something, because he was already employed. He just went from being part-time student worker to full-time worker, employee, pretty much. And I think it's something that I really like about Germany, and I would advise anyone who studies here to start to look for student jobs. And although I didn't did really student jobs, but I did internships, and I think that's also one of the things that helped me to get my foot into the door, because I had this internship and this experience in the German market to call for and say, hey, I did this and I work here. And my boss, my former boss, gave me a recommendation. So I think that was very helpful because, as I always say, it's really this first step, putting your feet into the market. And after that, then you see more doors are opening to you. So I would advise anyone who comes here to study to try to get student jobs, internships, anything you can get your hand in. So perhaps if you're already even working there when you graduate, you don't have to really struggle to get a job. Another tip I would say is learn German. Well, we are in Germany. I guess Berlin is a very diverse city. You can go around with English. A lot of startups, you have English jobs. I don't need German for my job. But in the end of the day, even if you don't speak fluent, it shows that you're interested, that you're learning the language, you're living here, and that you have skills, right? You have more skills than probably the ones who don't speak German, even if you're just at B1 or B2, but it's better than nothing or better than like super beginner. So I would say learning the language also would help you. And even if not for now, because I'm still studying German today, and I don't even think if in the next 3 years I can work in German. I think maybe 10 years from now. It's a language that takes time to get fluent. And especially, it's not only getting fluent, but getting fluent to go and buy things and ask for things at the doctor, and getting fluent to actually work and write reports. That's a total different level. So even if the language won't make a huge difference in getting the job, because you won't get a German speaking job with like basic fluency, but moving forward, it's really going to help you, because wanted or not, more than 80% of the market is close to you, because most of the jobs are in German still. Although there's a lot of startups and a lot of English speaking jobs, the majority of jobs are still close to you because you don't speak the language. So imagine, with all your experience, with probably your mother tongue, and maybe if you speak other language, plus the local language, all the possibilities that you may have in the future if you're looking for jobs and you're looking to step up your career. Learn German. Another thing that I wanted to say is that I forgot to add when it comes to learning German is, like, now you're competing with all the foreigners, all the expats for all those jobs, 10-15% of English speaking jobs. If you spoke German, you would not be competing for those 15% of jobs. You would be competing for 100% of jobs, because you could apply for English speaking jobs, you could apply for German speaking jobs. For instance, my experience is I don't speak German to work in German. I speak basic German, but I speak English, and I also speak French, and I speak Portuguese, speak Spanish. I went on job interviews for Spanish speaking jobs. I went to job interviews for French speaking jobs. And actually my first job was to work in business development for the French market. So the fact that you speak another language and other language just opens you more door, especially in the country of the language, which is Germany. Applying for jobs, interviewing for jobs, it's all about personal branding and how you sell yourself. That starts in your CV, that starts how you present yourself, your confidence level, and how prepared you are. So YouTube is your best friend. YouTube was my best friend when it came to applying for interviews. Like, you have questions for every kinds of jobs that you can imagine. Books. I read lots of books about preparing for jobs, how to talk, how to sell yourself. I was practicing so much, so at some point that I had interviews, I was not even like practice anymore. I kind of already knew my speech to the types of questions that would come along. So I would say really learn how to sell yourself. It's pretty much about the image that you sell. You may be a very good employee, but if you don't know how to sell yourself and sell your skills, it's going to be challenging. So that applies to anywhere. I don't believe it's just a German thing. I think it's just a skill that applies to anywhere, especially I'm talking to young professionals. I was one myself. So I had to learn a lot of things, right? I just did internships. I never really had this 9-to-5 experience. So this marathon of interviews was quite an experience for me. Learn to sell yourself, practice in front of the mirror, because that's going to be your selling point. And that's not only for your first job. After my first job, I have a second job, which is a job where I am now, which I really love. It's a total different department that I used to work before. And again, I had to sell myself. So you may get a job today, you want to move to the next company or the next challenge tomorrow, and selling yourself skills are still going to be relevant regardless if you have a job or not. Lastly, I would say that the websites and platforms that I would advise you to look for jobs in Germany would be websites like LinkedIn, like Glassdoor, websites like Sing is a Chinese, it's a German website, sorry. It's a German professional network. I mean, I never really apply for jobs there because most of them are in German. But it's just good to have it. I have it in my CV, like my Sing account. Just be everywhere. It's important. Where did I also look for jobs? Berlin startup jobs. But I would say LinkedIn. LinkedIn was the one that I was there a lot. I think both of my jobs I found on LinkedIn. And funny enough, our company released the stats about where most of the employees came from last year in our company, and I think 60 to 70% came from LinkedIn. So just be on LinkedIn. I would advise to pay the professional account, because you really can get more job descriptions that you're looking for. You can English sometimes is difficult. Sorry guys, not my mother tongue. Sometimes there's some words you can pretty much select which type of jobs in industry and cities you're looking for. So you're going to receive more personalized, that's the word. You're going to receive more personalized recommendations and offers. Sorry everyone, I had no space in my camera anymore. So I'm running out of time, and it's also getting darker, but I was already in the end anyways. So I would advise LinkedIn, Glassdoor, every website you can find, do some Google research, job portals in Berlin. But I would say LinkedIn is one of my favorites. Also good to build network, to add all your friends and classmates from college and participate, start to share things about the industry that you're working or trying to work in, to show how engaged you are. So I think it's a very good platform. Without saying, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was not so extensive, but it was helpful. If you have any tips and tricks about finding jobs in Germany, if you have any more questions that I may not answered in this video, I was not able to answer, please don't forget to leave it down below. Let's keep the discussion going. But I hope this video was helpful, and I hope there was some value for you in the video. And without further ado, have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.